One, 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 two, three, 1, 2. Okay. Is that working? Let's try that. I messed up the plugin in the board.
This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
We're rolling with it. Yep, we're ready. We're rolling with it. We're rolling with it. We're rolling with it. Good morning, Tuscaloosa. I don't have any music in my ear, but that is A-okay. Good morning, Tuscaloosa. How we doing today? On a Wednesday, it's the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. Hope you're having a great day. We are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, Facebook page. You're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. Hope you and yours are having a great day. We are right here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. Call Derek for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is here. We're hanging out with our man Theo Fernandez, and we're ready to talk about some Alabama sports. We're going to talk about Jaxon Richardson just a little bit as he showed out in the McDonald's All-American game last night. If you watched that, great. You can follow along with us. If you didn't, we'll tell you how impressive he was because, I think Alabama's got a good one. Got a good one coming in. And Jaxon Richardson had a nice performance. We can talk about some football if you want to do that. We can talk about some quarterback action as last week's scrimmage happened. You're going to have another scrimmage this coming weekend. And we should we shouldn't have any separation quite yet, but we're going to overreact to every practice clip that you ever saw. So we can talk about Keelan Russell and why Austin Mack probably has a little bit of lead on Keelan Russell at the moment. We'll see how it continues to go over spring camp. 8A coming up very, very soon. Oh my gosh, that's very soon. That's next Saturday, right? It's next Saturday.
10 days.
It's not this Saturday. It's next Saturday, not the 4th, the 11th.
11 days.
Holy moly. So next week's going to be all about 8A. You guys can let us know if you're coming to 8A. I know my man Dax is coming to 8A. Call us and let us know on the voicemail line what you want to see from 8A. If you think that it's worthwhile, 205-462-7340, extension 800, if you want to talk about 8A or anything on your mind on the voicemail line. And, of course, the program is brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. Visit them online at roofturtle.com for all of your roofing needs, whether you're in West Alabama or the whole state of Alabama. You can call Purple Turtle Roofing at 877-787-6635. They'll come out and give you a free roof inspection today, giving you the peace of mind that you deserve in your home. Check them out online at roofturtle.com. Good morning, Theo. How we doing? All the hooey out of the way. I guess I think we're on. It looks like we're on. The lines, the lights, the numbers, they all are reading. I just don't have anything in my ear. So, all right.
We're rolling. I've got stuff. I can hear you. I think someone would have commented if they can't hear us, right? So
that sounds good.
We're rolling. We're ready to go, and it's a good morning to talk some ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have a big day yesterday? Real quick, usually we do the baseball report at the end, but for all the people who cut it off, give me the 2-minute beating Jacksonville State 4-3 last night, right? Close game.
It was a pretty high level midweek baseball game.
Sweet.
Like just two pretty good teams who played relatively clean, right? Like Alabama threw 7 different pitchers, a lot of guys you don't see all the time, and that reminds you that it's a midweek. But no, this team's playing high level baseball. Although we had just a bizarre decision made in the 8th inning by a Jacksonville State base runner that probably saved the game for Alabama. You had Evan Steckmesser in the game. It was Bobby Alcock who just been removed from the game after loading up the bases, and Steckmesser comes in. He gets 1 out and then walks in 1 run. So we're sitting 3-3 ball game. Jacksonville State has just tied it up. They've got the bases loaded and a 2-2 count now. Well, Steckmesser goes, he throws ball 2, so that gets it to 2-2. As he's getting the ball back, the Jacksonville State runner on third decides to gun it home. I don't know what he was thinking, man. And it was clearly a decision made by him, not by the coach or anything. He tries to steal home while Steckmesser isn't looking. The problem is he looks up and then throws him out by about 20 feet. Easiest out he will get. And like Alabama was struggling to throw strikes. You probably were in a pretty good spot to get another run. Instead, Alabama gets bailed out, and then Brady Neal hits his 6th homer of the year, man. Brady Neal has been phenomenal for this baseball team. One of the, like, if there was a most improved player in the SEC, he would be in the mix for it. What he's doing this year is truly phenomenal. And this is a guy who passed up a lot of money in the MLB out of high school, went to LSU, had to transfer to Alabama after a couple years there, just really struggling to find his role. And even when he was out there and showing flashes, just not able to put it together consistently. And now he's Alabama's leading hitter. But he's been phenomenal. So he gives Alabama the win with that home run, and Alabama 8-game winning streak entering this series against Oklahoma.
Man, and quite a turnaround from about 3 weeks ago, where you're getting swept by Kentucky and losing another midweek game. I guess the week that next week before the Florida game, you lost another midweek game as well. So really nice to see him bouncing back, finding some momentum, and really having a gritty win on the road.
Yeah, no, it is. This team is operating at a higher level. That Jacksonville State game is a game that this team loses 2 weeks ago with the way it was playing. And you're now at 4 straight games without an error. You played mistake-free baseball. It is a very promising sign for this team. And you're going to go, and I'm leaning 2-1 Alabama against Oklahoma. That's a series where you lose and it's whatever. Oklahoma is on paper a better team. Oklahoma is the home team. It'll be a fun series. We'll talk about that more tomorrow because it starts on Thursday, so we can discuss that a little more tomorrow.
There we go. Absolutely. Let's get into the first major topic of the day, and it is Jaxon Richardson. If you were not watching last night's McDonald's All-American game, that's okay. I don't blame you. Look, when Alabama sports aren't playing, then I'm usually just watching Netflix, and I'm usually watching Hulu or watching something else, not directly related. But later in the night, I'm watching the highlights, and I'm writing up a roll call. And I knew he was playing, and I was like, okay, I'm going to save it for roll call because I'm going to make it the roll call lead. He looked really, really impressive to me. 13 points, a couple of rebounds, an assist, a steal, a block. There's a 4 or 5 minute highlight video that's out there on the YouTube machine. We put it in our roll call. So if you want to just see his 4 or 5 minutes of play, you can find it at BamaCentral.com in last night's roll call. Well, this morning's roll call. I was impressed by him. Obviously, all the hype is about Caleb Holt, and great, awesome. But I thought Jaxon Richardson looked like an Alabama basketball player last night.
Yes, he did. And I came in not quite understanding what we had in Richardson. And it's hard to, right? It's always hard to evaluate these high school guys and how quickly they were going to translate. And I kept hearing incredible athlete. It's hard to know all the time against these other high school players.
Mm-hmm.
He was the most athletic player on the floor in this game last night against the best high schoolers in the country. He could be the best athlete in the class. He's certainly the best jumper in this class. I mean, we saw it a day before with the dunk contest, taken off basically from the free throw line. I underestimated just how athletically dominant this guy is going to be for Alabama. I mean, he can hang with anybody. And you saw it pay off, like in the on-ball defense, for example. I saw a play where he went up, tried to contest a 3, early jump, got pump fakes, lands, and then is able to contest a shot that most players on a court would not be able to, but he is because he's able to make up ground so fast. Richardson has the makings of a big-time college player.
Yeah, I think that he like, to me, I mean, you're going to get the one section of fans who just focuses on the run out dunk that the first bucket that he had. He was running out. He caught an outlet pass and wide open dunk. Okay, great. He trailed on an alley oop and caught an alley oop. Great. He found himself wide open on an offensive rebound and had a very easy putback that he executed nicely. Great. Awesome. those are fun. Those are nice, and we obviously remember the dunks from the dunk contest. But to me, what translates to Alabama is what you just kind of talked about. It's the on-ball defense. It's the tenacity. It's an all-star game. It's an all-star game, right? It's an all-star. And look, you guys all know what you've seen out of all-star games of the last 10 years of all-star games, maybe 5, but somewhere between 5 and 10 years. The competitive nature of all-star games has really fallen off, and you understand why that is, and that's not what this debate is about. But Jaxon Richardson says, I'm clocking in, I've got a uniform on, I've got basketball shoes on, there's a scoreboard, time on the clock, I'm going to play hard. He got himself 20 minutes of action, and he had the block, which was a block at the rim. Guy beat him off the dribble. He chased it down, blocked him at the rim. He forced a turnover by ball pressure on the perimeter. Guy dribbles it off his knee, out of bounds. Ball goes Jaxon Richardson's team's way. He did get credited with a steal that kind of bounced right to him. Some of his other teammates tipped it, and it bounced right to him. Okay, great. You didn't really make a play there, but forced a shot clock violation by by stabbing out a ball and making his guard kind of go back and go pick up the ball. Shot clock was running down, and the guy took a terrible 3-point shot. Richardson right in his face. Didn't even hit anything. Shot clock violation, going the other way. I thought he fought through some screens very well on the perimeter, fighting through screen. To me, the competitive nature and embracing the defense of it. Because look, you saw it last night with the dunks. You know that if you're going to be when you're playing at Alabama, you're going to get out on the break. You're going to get out on the break. You're going to run. You're going to have opportunities at the rim. But in order to do that, you've got to play perimeter defense. You've got to be up on your man. You've got to that's been the Nate Oates' biggest thing. If Nate Oates gets his team to play defense, then usually successful season. If not, no defense, then fun offense, but could lose anytime, anywhere, any game. And so really nice for me to watch this little clip and watch all of his minutes of action and see somebody who looks like they're going to fit right into blue collar rap. You're not going to have to, hey, buddy, we play defense here. Yeah. Hey, buddy, we need you to try on the defensive end. He looks like a guy who's ready to play defense right now, and just kind of it's going to take some time to what's the system? Which switches do I make? What's the communication language? That kind of thing will take a little bit of time, but the innate defense is a priority kind of gene seemed to be in Jaxon Richardson.
No, I agree. Wouldn't expect anything less with his father, right? And that is obviously a comparison we're going to draw a lot, but for good reason. I mean, this guy's, I think, I was talking with Joe earlier, I don't think Amari Allen's a bad comp as far as the level of production that you could get from Jaxon Richardson freshman year. And Amari Allen obviously came in as a significantly less heralded prospect than Richardson, right? Richardson's coming in with people already thinking he's better. And, I mean, he just showed one of the 5 best players in this game yesterday. Like, he shot 6 of 9 from the field, made all those big plays on both ends of the court. He impressed as much as anybody. And then you throw in winning the dunk contest and even some of those highlights he had in the scrimmage 2 nights ago now. There's an argument to be made that Jaxon Richardson was the most impressive player from this weekend.
He definitely looked like the most athletic player. And we talked about it yesterday with the dunk contest, the commitment. He committed to those dunks that were maybe a little bit dangerous, maybe a little bit risky. But the same thing translates to last night on the defensive end. Committed to winning, committed to, hey, I've got to put on a show and dunk over 5 guys and maybe put myself in harm's way versus, I've got to do what I can for my team and have some good ball pressure and not take plays off on the defensive end. I was impressed. I'm not going to sit here and say greatest recruit ever because that's wild, but I was impressed, and I went from, oh man, no Caleb Holt. What's this recruiting class going to look like? Okay, now there's at least a lead role. You know how you doing the actors, why do you want to see this movie? Well, the lead actor is great. I love the lead actor. I think that Alabama has a lead actor for the class of 2027 for the basketball program. I don't think you even had that for last year's basketball freshman class. Amari Allen became that. Right, you had London, Jemison, and Amari. You had London, London Amari and Davion Hannah, and I guess Collins on the Ajak as well. But like they were I'll be honest, Theo, I was not sitting here doing backflips over the recruiting class until you started to see them actually on the floor. I wasn't doing backflips over those guys signing and over, oh, look at their highlight packages, that sort of thing. Amari Allen became that lead actor in that class. I think Jaxon Richardson already is.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see what he does with this team. You're going to get to see all three of these guys in, I forget how many weeks it is, in a couple weeks in the Jordan Classic in Brooklyn.
Excellent. You going?
I'll be in Los Angeles. I will not be there. Hunter DeCyber will probably be there by now.
Oh, we should get him. We should get him credentialed to go. Yeah. Absolutely.
No, because he'll be right in Long Island. Then.
Go ahead and start building that relationship with Jaxon Richardson and his family and such.
Yeah, definitely can't hurt.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. All right, so that was fun last night. Obviously, didn't really have a whole lot of stakes, but fun to see, fun to scratch the curiosity itch of what is in the NATO's recruiting class. So we'll see what he ends up doing. But excited about Jaxon Richardson, excited about his athleticism. Obviously, it was just one night, but I was excited about his defensive prowess. And so we will see. Hey, if you're a 3-and-D guy and you're the best athlete on the floor, we can use that. we can use that anytime, any season.
Might have been wrong. I thought the Jordan Classic was in Brooklyn. I'm now seeing Washington, D.C.
That's okay. That's okay.
Regardless.
D.C., yeah, Brooklyn soon.
April 17th. Yeah, it used to be in Brooklyn from what I'm seeing. Regardless, that will be a chance for everybody to see all those guys in action. Yeah, it looks like they moved to D.C. pretty recently. But
there you go.
Regardless.
All right, Theo. Let's take a quick pivot. Let's go a hard right turn into football. What do you want to talk about? I've got an offensive line topic. I've got a quarterback topic. We talked about win totals yesterday. Let's start back with yesterday in the win totals. 8.5 was the win total from FanDuel, and both of us, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but both of us seem to think that 8.5 is stealing money. Nine is going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I was checking.
We've got serious problems if 9 doesn't happen.
Right. All right. So if you're at 9-3, that's 12, right? 9-3 is 12. If you're at 9-3 and you are playing on the bubble / in or out, if you're right there in the 10 to 14 range in the college football playoff rankings, so you're either right there in barely or you're right there out barely. But you're 9-3. What would it take for this fan base to say, okay, that's good. We're not going to lose our brains. We'll keep riding with Kalen DeBoer. We'll keep riding with this coaching staff, riding with the philosophy. 9-3 wasn't what you wanted, because obviously everybody wants 12-0, 15-0, 16 now. 16-0, right? 16-0, SEC champion, college football playoff champion. Everybody wants that. Great. But if you don't hit that and you hit 9-3, what could happen to give the Alabama fan base some I guess positivity into the next offseason, or some, some hope that they're still on the right track with Kalen DeBoer?
Well, the only way that happens is if you go 9-3 with Keelan Russell starting. That's the only world where 9-3 satisfies this fan base. You have Keelan Russell out there. You obviously get him back for the next year, and people can say, wow, we won 9 games. Maybe not the best wins, and that's the other weird thing. So I was thinking about 9-3 and what if the wins came in the big games, right?
Right.
Well, if you win the big games, that means you're losing some really bad ones. There's no real
stinkers.
I guess it would have to be oh man, we lost to Kentucky early in the season.
Oh, don't do that.
And we managed to put things together late, and Keelan Russell really started to settle in late. That is the only way that people can be somewhat not upset about a 9-3 if it's 9-3 with a young freshman QB.
3 weeks in a row, Kentucky, Florida State, South Carolina, and then you get to that.
Well, I think the thing is, if that happened,
that'd be nuts. It'd be implosion.
They'd put you in the playoff then, right? If you were winning all those games late.
Well, if you ended up rattling off Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, and yes, but a 3-game skid would be horrific, and you probably couldn't overcome that.
Yeah.
You probably could not overcome 3 weeks in a row. Oh yeah. I think that you're on the right track there. If you're starting Austin Mack, and you end up getting out to a 5-0 start, and then lose to Georgia. You go up to Knoxville, you look, lifeless on offense. Lose to Tennessee, you got to make the switch. You switch to Keelan Russell by that Texas A&M game, or you're still battling with Austin Mack in that A&M game, and it's kind of 50-50. Okay, we're using the bye week to load up and play Keelan Russell. Keelan Russell goes 3-1 over the last 4 games. The last 4 games, you lost at LSU, maybe. Or as Theo said, you might have lost at Vanderbilt.
Joe, if you think Keelan Russell's first start is going to be on the road in Death Valley, are you trying to get this guy killed?
Hey, if he's as special as everybody says, then it's fine.
If he's as special as everyone says, I think he'll be starting from week 1.
Right. And I do think he's very special, but I don't think he's going to be starting week 1. I think that Austin Mack is still got a pretty inside track here because of his experience and because of what you have on the defensive side of the football. I think the defensive side of the football is really where you're going to lean on this year. And because the defense is is your strength, then I think that you're not going to take as many. I think you're going to try to take calculated risks on the offensive end. And where Keelan Russell, I do think has very special talent, and I would love to see him develop here. I'd love to cover him. I think Keelan Russell still has a little bit of erratic nature, a little bit of erratic decision making.
What are we basing this off?
People I've talked to.
People are saying that he still, you think, has.
Oh, he's young.
He's young, but it's
fine. I'm not trying to paint. I want to make it clear. I'm not trying to paint a picture that he's got problems. Right. I'm trying to paint a picture of a young player. That's all. A young player who needs more time to play on time.
I think that's somewhat of a lazy take at times, just because we have such little to go off of. We didn't play very well on time. He didn't play on time in his few opportunities. I mean, yes, you did against Mercer. You threw a touchdown pass to MJ Churgwin right there, but I think that he still has some time to assimilate to the college game. And the reason I think Austin Mack is going to be your starter is because I think he can continuously play. I think he can play on time a little bit more consistently than Keelan Russell. Keep the ball out of harm's way. I think that sometimes you get a little bit of paralysis by analysis. Oh, shit, that was the read that I was supposed to make. I'm still holding the ball. Can I save it? Can I spin out of the pocket and do something? When he should have just taken the first or second read that was there. And I think he can get to a place where Keelan can get to a place where he's just 3-step drop, bam, it's out. 3-step drop, 1 to 2, it's out. But I think there's a little bit of it's not quite second nature for him yet. Now, I think he has otherworldly arm talent. I think he has good pocket presence. I think he has good athleticism, but it's just not quite second. And I don't know that it's second nature for Austin Mack either, but I think on the experience factor, Austin Mack has the edge, and thus he's not going to put the offense in as many dangerous positions. Now, You take the good with the bad. Keelan Mack, you put the offense in some dangerous positions sometimes, sure, but you can also, wizard out, rabbit out of a hat. It's third and whatever, and I just made a play, and you thought, what the heck did I just see? I think he has that in as well. But when you think about how strong the Alabama defense is, or how strong they should be, they're supposed to be, they're built to be. We'll see if they continue. They were good last year. They were really good last year, and they got better now all the way through the season. But new year, new slate, new players. We'll see if they continue to be good. But if you think your strength is the defense, and why wouldn't it be? Then you want to just play steady on offense, not put them in bad positions. If you have to punt, it's fine, but you don't want to be throwing pick sixes. You don't want to be throwing interceptions or fumbling in the pocket. You don't want to be having, hanging out in the pocket too long, getting that ball smacked around and setting up the other offense on your own 20-yard line. So your defense, like the Georgia game last year, they scored SEC championship. They scored 2 of their 3 touchdowns setting up on the 12-yard line. Yeah. Now, it wasn't really ties, but the whole offense went
kaput. But that's the point, is you're trying to avoid that. You're trying to punt, give the defense a lot of room, a lot of opportunities to make plays. You're going to try to give the defense room to do the whole bend, don't break aspect of let's try to make a turnover, force a havoc play. You need a lot of field for that. I think that Austin Mack has the lead on Keelan Russell by about that much. If you're not watching on video, it's very small margin. It's not huge, but it is a margin. And we'll see if Keelan can overcome that over the next 2 weeks of spring and the summer and fall camp. Like, there's still plenty of time for it to flip. But right now, today, I think Austin Mack has the lead on starting against Eastern Carolina, and it's because of his experience, because he won't put the defense into dangerous positions. And I think you can win with Austin Mack.
Well, let me walk you through the progression of why I think it will end up being Keelan. First of all, I don't think we're going to get much over the next 2 weeks. I don't think we're going to get anything over A-Day. Like, I really think...
Oh, we're going to lose our minds over A-Day.
We're going to lose our minds, but I don't think much will change in your little margin. I have very little disagreement with that right now. You go in over the summer, and you watch those guys play, and I think we'll confirm what the thought is right now, that, yes, this ceiling with Russell playing QB is extremely high. I look at the beginning of the schedule.
It's number one pick overall type high.
It is.
Go ahead.
It absolutely is. East Carolina. It's a nice, easy environment to start your career in. Then you go for an SEC road test, but oh wait, the road test is Kroger Field. That's the best possible environment to throw somebody into, to start out their SEC road career. You come back and, okay, we got some real competition. We have Florida State. We have South Carolina. You go on the road to face some cowbells. But I look at the back half of the season, right? There is no QB change happening there. There isn't. You are not making the change after you play Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M. You're not making a change heading into the LSU game. The earliest a change would really happen is probably November 21st, Chattanooga. Because you're probably not starting him. Oh, man, we just lost to LSU. Are we going to start him on the road for his first career start, Vanderbilt? Maybe, but very doubtful. Like, there's no room to make a change.
Do you think that there's a place on October 24th after 2 tough weeks? You might have lost to Georgia. You might have lost to Tennessee. You're coming back home for homecoming. You're coming back home. Yes, it's a tough opponent, but friendly confines of Bryant Day Stadium, you can put them in a tough game against A&M, get a bye week, and then try to salvage your season down at LSU. Go ahead.
All right, so it's not a horrible take. You'd have to have picked up a third loss at that point, right? You'd have to have lost a game that you shouldn't have earlier. I just think that when I'm looking at this from a how do we make sure this season is successful standpoint, turning to Keelan late in the season is a bailout.
Keelan, save us!
Yeah, right? Like, I would much rather throw him out there, let him make some mistakes early in games where, quite frankly, if your defense is as good as you think it is, should be able to handle, oh, Keelan, he got strip sacked, or oh, he threw a bad pick. It's okay. We're going to hold him to 3 here. I feel like it battle tests the whole team, right? It puts the defense in some positions that it should probably learn how to work out of. It puts Keelan in positions to make big plays and make mistakes that won't necessarily cost the team. I think that if you roll out a 5-0 Keelan Russell, who's made big plays, who's had experiences, who's gone into a couple road environments like Mississippi State, those cowbells, we know they're no joke, right?
All day long.
I would prefer, I think the ideal quarterback to throw out on October 10th against Georgia is that version of Keelan Russell over any version of Austin Mack.
Whew. Do you just not like Austin? I'm just asking. How you feel about let's get your opinion of Austin straight out here.
I think Austin is a solid QB. I think he is a B+ QB.
Okay.
I think that's what he's been his whole career. There's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's commendable that he has stuck with DeBoer so long, that he's waited his turn to get his shot. Similar, you can say it about Ty Simpson too. And he obviously stayed knowing that, yeah, I have a real chance to win this job this year. But man, when you have that kind of ceiling in a guy, when you have somebody who looks that special in Russell, it is so hard for me. It seems so hard to justify not playing him as early as possible, especially when we look at where we are at with college football and what you're looking at. Like, does Keelan want to stay if he's not being played this year? I'm just pure speculation. Right?
Sure.
I don't know what the answer is. Maybe for all we know, yeah, he's happy to stay knowing he'll be the starter next year. It just seems like poor judgment to not play this guy who has this kind of ceiling right now.
All right, so what's Austin Mack's ceiling?
I have never liked using the word ceiling. I think it's the worst word in sports discourse because we never know these ceilings. Guys,
right, but if we're setting, I'm just asking, if we're setting Keelan Russell as 1.1 type potential, what type of potential does Austin Mack have?
That's a good question.
Because I agree with you that Russell is a 1.1 type of player.
Is it like I could see a world where Austin Mack produces in stretches at the level Ty Simpson did? Right?
Yes.
Like I'd say that is
I think he can.
I think he could put it together and play at that level.
I think he can be better than that, personally.
You think he can be better than that?
Personally, yes,
right,
I do.
Walk me through his ceiling and why it's higher.
I think that Austin Mack and Ty Simpson are comparable athletes. I think that they look way different running because of their body sizes. Their body stride. Austin Mack's stride is super long, so he doesn't look as fast. But I think he's fast enough to get it done running the football in situations. He's not a runner, but in situations, I got to pull it down and scramble. Sure. I think that Austin Mack's arm, quite frankly, I don't want to say it too meanly, but I think I think Austin Mack's arm drastically outshines Ty Simpson's arm. I think the ability. Now, is his release as fast as Ty's? No, and that's that's something he's going to have to keep working on. But I think that his ability, his strength, the arm strength, and the ability to make any throw in the book, he's off platform, on platform, his size and the length of all of his appendages allow him just operate like a whip, just sling that arm back and whip it, and he can find any spot on the field. I think his arm talent is really, really, really good. Now Ty had a great understanding of the offense last year. Ty had a really, really, really high level understanding of the Alabama offense and was operating mentally at a level that is above the normal college quarterback. I think he got Alabama into and out of a lot of good plays, and I think that quite often he made good reads post-snap. Now, I think sometimes he didn't always trust his reads. That comes with experience, and he's going to get more experience. He's going to need more experience, but I do think cerebrally, mentally, Ty Simpson was operating extremely high, and that's an area that Simpson outmatched Austin Mack in their competition and outmatches him today. But I think that Austin Mack physically is extremely physically gifted, and if you got to remember, he early enrolled to Washington as well. He forewent his senior year, so just like the Ryan Williams path, he is a year earlier than he actually should be. So I think that, physically speaking, I think he has a lot of intriguing qualities that make me want to see what he's got. I think he's a better athlete than Ty Simpson just on the whole, and I think his arm is better than Ty's. I don't think he's mentally better than Ty, but I think with more time, maybe he could be.
Here's the problem with everything you just said.
Keelan is too.
I could play that clip without context. And with the exception of the stuff you said about his size, every single thing there would apply to Russell. Sure. The size is, that is one thing that Keelan doesn't quite have. Have you seen how quick Russell's release is?
Very.
Dude, it is pro level right now. It's incredible. I struggle to see
You know how fast the rubber band jumps off your finger when you're doing the finger guns? Were you ever doing that as an elementary school?
Like
Yeah, that's his release to me. It's bing, 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 bing. It just he just lets it go out of his hands, and it's gone. I love it.
I struggle to see how it makes sense to not play Russell as early as possible, which is against East Carolina.
Well, you're going to have to win games, and every game. And can you beat East Carolina with Keelan Russell? Yes. Can you beat Florida State? You can win these first 5 games with either one of them. I think it's really going to be who can play against Georgia. And when Georgia's throwing at you a bunch of different looks, throwing at you a bunch of different defenses and pressures, who handles it better? Who understands the offense better? Who understands the offense? Understands the answers to the offense better right now today? I think it's Keelan. I think it's Austin Mack.
Just Austin Mack only has, I say only, like maybe not the best use, but like he has 1 more year in the system. That makes a difference, obviously. But like you gotta realize Russell had spent a year in this system, in this team, learning with Ty, and Ty obviously had nothing but positive things to say about those guys at every opportunity. But you know that Russell has spent all this time learning, and
he's not doing nothing. He's not doing nothing. He's soaking up the offense too.
I think we might be slightly overselling just how far ahead mentally and in the system Mac is than Russell when Russell's had all this time to learn.
That might be true. That might be true. And that might be, might be the reason why the gap is so small right now between the two of them, because I think physically Keelan Russell probably has him from just a ability standpoint. So it's going to be interesting to see how these last 2 weeks play out. We got 1 more scrimmage on Friday, and then we have A-Day next Saturday. Let's wrap this conversation up with this. What will we be saying when we leave A-Day? Will we have a clearer picture, or will it be muddier?
Will it be saying the exact same things we are right now?
No, Keelan can pass him by A-Day, on A-Day. To me, it's that close to where we'll see. I want to see it with my own eyes to see how erratic he actually is. Is he really that erratic? And if he's not, then okay, let's just ride with him and see what happens.
So basically, for you, it comes down to if he doesn't make mistakes on A-Day.
I'm much more interested in it. I'm much more interested in him not having mistakes on A-Day than having him have wild plays.
What if they both just make wild plays and they're all, or like they do all the good stuff, but both just erratic and missing? And
that's hard. Yeah. That's challenging.
I don't know what
you play AK Deer as your Wildcat quarterback, and you just try to really fix this running game.
I forget who asked the first question. It was on Friday when you guys were all up in Chicago. And the first question was, well, how'd the quarterbacks look? And DeBoer just gets the biggest smile on his face. Oh, Jet Tamala looked phenomenal today.
Did he say that for real?
Yeah.
Good for him. Coach, way to show some personality.
Talks about him, Taden Kawa.
That's awesome. I didn't hear that. That's awesome.
It was one of the better things he said.
Well, DeBoer, A+++. Well done. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh, that's great. Oh, let's keep going here. I got 1 more football topic for us before we get out of here, but I want to.
I'm sorry.
You said hold on.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you had more to go on. Oh, all right. You got to go. You done?
No, I was
about another 5 minutes.
Asking if it was about the O-line.
It is about the offensive line.
Yeah,
it is about the offensive line. Yeah, get your notes together for the offensive line. We'll talk about what happened over the weekend, those last couple of days, after we tell them about Purple Turtle Roofing. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor, Theo. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacements, insurance claim support, and more. Visit us online today at roofturtle.com. It doesn't matter if you've got a metal roof or a shingle roof. We'll take care of you. Call them at 877-787-6635 today, or visit them online at roofturtle.com. Theo, you mind reader, it is on the offensive line because that's the only thing that matters this whole offseason is fixing the offensive line. Because look, we're going to do this quarterback debate another 10 times during this offseason. But quite frankly, I don't give a rip. I don't give a rip because I think both players, you talk about ceilings. Well, let's talk about basements and floors. I think both players' basements and floors are both at about a 7 out of 10, which is, I think, pretty good. Maybe people might say that's bad, but I think that both their floors are pretty good. And you're just kind of trying to see who's most ready to play at quarterback. It doesn't matter who plays at quarterback unless you have fixed this offensive line. And some developments have happened over the week, or some interesting developments have happened over the week. What do you think about this offensive line that was playing a lot of the scrimmage on Friday? You had Jaxon Lloyd, left tackle. You ended up having, let me read it right, Jaxon Lloyd, left tackle. Nick Brooks, the Texas transfer, at left guard. Rayson Delgatti at center. You ended up with Michael Carroll at right guard. And Javen James, the Mississippi State player, playing right tackle through a lot of the scrimmage on Friday. Now, we got to remember, William Sanders not available for the spring. William Sanders, do you actually play left guard instead of Nick Brooks? Probably. Or do you play right guard instead of Michael Carroll, and Michael Carroll plays right tackle? What do you make of the offensive line, the Michael Carroll right guard offensive line?
Michael Carroll is too special to use at guard. And I know he was recruited playing a lot of interior in high school. He did what he needed to at right tackle. And he told me, I spoke with him at the Rose Bowl, and he said, yeah, I want to play right tackle next season again. He seems happy there. The team should obviously be happy with what he's done there. He would probably be, I don't think it's a stretch to say that he could be the best guard in the country next year. Right? Like, I don't think it's crazy to say he could be at that level. I would rather have an A- tackle than an A+ guard. And I don't know. And I think Javen James is a big part of it too. Because as DeBoer talked about Javen, and he said some stuff that really caught me off guard on Friday, because Ryan Grubb said, yeah, Jaxon Lloyd is the starting left tackle.
He backed off of it a little bit.
DeBoer backed off of it. So I think Javen is still very much in the mix for a starting tackle job.
Yeah.
And then I also think that the Michigan transfers are a big part of it too. And that's why it's so hard to piece something together, just because you have so much uncertainty, right? And so much of it, I think, comes down to, well, the only way, we don't know how to get the 5 best players on the field without knowing who the 5 best players are. And I think guys are going to, over the next couple weeks, and then especially over the summer, guys are going to make their case through their play for why they cannot be kept off the field. And that could be Nick Brooks, Ty Haywood, or Caden Strayhorn. It could be one of those 3 just doing something special and saying, yeah, like, we need to be played at guard. And then that moves stuff around elsewhere. And then that definitely says, okay, yeah, Michael Carroll, you're absolutely our right tackle. Or it could be Javen James just looking like an absolute rock, and you have to play him and Jaxon Lloyd. Jaxon Lloyd could trail off a little bit and get himself out of the starting five. Like, you have 1.5 guarantees on this offensive line. I'll give a half guarantee to Rayson Delgatti starting at center, because I think it's penciled in with very thick coating of pencil applied. It's not
penciled in as him being the starter or him being quality?
Him being the starting center.
All right. Yes. But then, I'm not ready to say how quality he is.
Yeah, I'm not either. And then the other guarantee is that one of those right side spots will be held by Michael Carroll.
Sure.
I certainly would think it would be tackle. But just so much is up in the air, man. And I really don't know what you expect or what you're going to get from this guy in Sanders, a returner, right, who showed flashes, who seems like he should have the inside track. I know you're really high on him, Joe, and I agree you should be. There are so many names, man. Ty Haywood has a lot of potential. Caden Strayhorn showed some nice things. Nick Brooks is probably the guy I know the least about right now. You've got, I don't think Mal Waldrop will be really in contention for a starting job, but you've got him as a name in there. A lot of guys to account for. It's so hard to even try to piece anything together right now.
Yes, it is, but I am a little concerned. I'm a little concerned with the movement reported because of how bad the problems were last year. I mean, they were horrible.
Yes.
Outside of Parker and Hayden Proctor, your pass protection. I mean, and even Caden sometimes was not good. But your run blocking was non-existent. All five of them, non-existent. And so, such a problem for me that, like, again, take you back 2 minutes ago. I don't care who plays quarterback. The quarterback's gonna be fine. They're gonna be able to deliver the ball. Austin and Keelan both have good arms. They both have enough experience, not great experience, but enough. You got a plenty of wide receiver play who's going to be able to get open. Like, just protect those guys. Just open up the hole so we can play, so Alabama can play balanced offense. So it's not just, well, it's 1st and 10, they're going to pass. 2nd and 10, they're going to pass. It's 3rd and 11, they're going to pass. Like, you got to have some sort of balance. And so for me, I'm a little concerned because I want some of these guys to build a home, have a home, create a home, build a home. Rayson Nogati, he has a home. He's not playing any other position but center. Jackson Lloyd seems like he has a home at left tackle. We'll see if he's given that up anytime to Javen James. But you're not playing Jackson Lloyd at guard. You're not doing like I don't love, like, I think Michael Carroll is an extremely quality player, high level player. But don't be messing around with him. Is he playing guard or tackle? If he's playing tackle, it's fine. He's got to grow there. Let him sit there and grow. Is his NFL position probably guard? Probably. But as a college player and a high-level lineman, you want your opportunity to play tackle. Give him his opportunity. You don't have anything better right now. Do you have anything better at right tackle than Michael Carroll?
No.
Okay. So let's just start outside in. Let's start. You go. You need 2 tackles. Well, Michael Carroll is your best tackle on the team. You feel better about him at right or left? Right. All right. So who's playing left? Who's your next best offensive lineman? And you look and you find, and you've settled right now on Jackson. Like, outside in here, you've got their center. Okay. You've got all the calls. You've got interior slides. You've got, helps and whatever you're going to do. Like, get some guys in their homes. Let them develop in their homes. Let them feel comfortable. Get the 5, whoever the 5. Like, you're not going to have the 5 because I do think William Sanders is going to have his say in summer and fall camp, and I do think he's going to end up as being one of these 2 guard spots. But get your 4 at least, and then let William Sanders fight for that 5th spot when fall camp starts. Like, please figure out some sort of a system right now. You went 2 weeks with an offensive line, and now in your 3rd week, you said, "Hey, Michael, I know you were at spring break. You did great, and you played right guard before. I know you've been training at tackle."
Well, I'll propose one thing. Is Michael Carroll just playing guard so that Lloyd and James can both get experience at tackle at the same time?
Probably.
I see no problem with that. Just because, like, Carroll has the experience there. You know that. And, like, I get the idea of wanting to find a home for these guys. You've got all of summer to do that. This is the time to do all the messing around. This is the time for let's really figure out where everyone's home is going to be. And if we have to move guys around, now is the time to do it. I think, maybe I'm looking into it too much, but I think that is what is being done right now, so that when we hit July, when we return from SEC Media Day and we're ready to start actually getting ready for the season, these guys have a settled in spot.
I think that's probably right. I probably am just having a trauma response to the movement that happened last year.
You should be.
Honestly, that's probably what it is. It's probably triggering the movement. Oh, Wilkin Forman's playing guard. Forman's playing tackle. Oh, you've got Keaton Proctor playing tackle. He's playing running back. He's playing wide receiver. Oh, just it's terrible. It was infuriating. It was infuriating to see who's playing left guard next to Keaton Proctor this week. Is it Gino? It's crazy. Some probably just having a trauma response right there to hearing some of that news. But that's what's going on in Alabama football camp right now is just some shuffling on the offensive line. Both quarterbacks kind of trying to find some footing in this competition. And yeah, just guys being dudes. Hearing lots of great things. Last note for me, lots of great things about Terrence Green and Devin Tompkins, Oregon transfer and USC transfer. And honestly, it's probably smoke. And so it's hard to believe. I don't really want to believe it yet. But if you got dudes at those two positions, you got to be feeling really, really, really good about this defense.
No, I agree. I know Sab talked. I think Sab talked about TT.
Actually, it was Daniel Hill. I asked Daniel Hill what defensive lineman. He goes, "Oh, Tompkins, USC guy. Yeah, he's a dude."
He did call him USC guy. Right. Wanted to give us context of who he was.
So, if you got two dudes right there, I mean, we all missed you. We all loved you, Tim Keenan and James Smith. But if you upgraded both those guys,
wouldn't be complaining.
Wouldn't complain at all. All right, Theo, anything else for the people today? You've got to go take a test. You got anything going on in the baseball world? We'll be putting our ear to the ground about Bama football practice again today. They were off yesterday. They were back at it on Monday, off today, back today. Practice Monday, off Tuesday, back today.
No, I've got nothing. Alabama baseball is headed to Oklahoma right now, so we'll have to talk about that series tomorrow.
Oklahoma, where the wind goes sleeping on the plains.
Yeah, pretty quiet day, honestly, relatively. So not much going on.
Let's hope it stays that way. Let's hope your day goes very smoothly. We appreciate everybody who watched us on the BamaCentral Facebook page, YouTube channel. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify. I appreciate everybody who shared the show with their friends. You can call the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. We're going to be talking more Alabama sports right here tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com.